It is the second. We're gonna do Ask Your Guides. I really like this spot outside, so we're gonna give it another go. I just hope my stuff doesn't go into the pool. I didn't even post yesterday's video, so you're gonna get a double post today. But I hope your year's starting off great. I hope you're setting your intentions. I hope you're getting sleep. I'm so tired. I go to sleep like an old lady. Like, I sleep early, and like after I lay my baby down, I give myself an hour to unwind from the day. But man, ever since I stayed up late for New Year's Eve, I think I went to bed like at 4 or something. It's thrown off my days a little bit. That was not a shuffle. Did you see that? Anyway, it's thrown off my days a little bit. So tonight I plan to go to sleep probably as soon as I lay her down. I don't know. Let's see how much I can get done today. And then I'm already planning things. Like, things are already in the works for the year. I'm excited. I'm excited to start seeing people I haven't seen in so long, who I'm like reconnecting with. I'm just so excited. Like, it feels like possibilities and like the energy, you know? I'm just so excited. Okay, so guys, what does the Soul Tribe need to hear? What do we need to hear? Sorry if it's loud. I'm by the pool, so like you can hear the little fountain, but then people are doing yard work also. So hopefully you can hear me okay. Uh-oh. So this one says boredom, your teacher guides. This one says charity. Why does it say that weird? Charity? Charity? You know, charity. And this is your nature spirits. Should we read both? Let's read both of them. Okay, we'll do that in a second. So we'll start with, I read this one first. So boredom, number 23. Am I too far? Is it too sunny? Can you see me? Okay. It's 23. Tedium, disappointment, emptiness, frustration. Life is relatively stable and calm now, and you've achieved a certain degree of predictability and comfort on a day-to-day basis. However, something is lacking in the way of deeper fulfillment. Your teacher guides gather in response to the emptiness. They gently remind you that there's more to your soul than you are presently expressing. They are calling upon you to share more of yourself with the world and let your hidden and forgotten talents come forward. That's so awesome! I told you last night, if you're on my Facebook, I told you, do the thing that sparks your joy, that brings you joy, and share it. Like, share. When you're putting in that creative energy into something, your vibration's already super high, right? And then when you share it, and not share it for like validation, but share it, like, put that energy out there. Even if nobody watches it, even if only one person watches it, it's the intention of the energy to amplify. Do you know what I mean? Okay, anyway. So trust these beautiful guides as they lovingly urge you to set aside your reservations and unearth and express your hidden gifts. What did I just say? They wisely counsel you that any restlessness, emptiness, and boredom you feel isn't the result of something wrong in your life, but rather is a reminder that there is more of you to express, friend. Your teacher guides invite you to take advantage of your present peace and use your good fortune to explore your deeper spiritual and creative callings. For example, start a meditation group course, enroll in a filmmaking class, learn Reiki, begin writing, or maybe even teach a class for others. Stretch and ask more of yourself and give more of yourself to others. Your teacher's guide's message to you is dig deeper. There's more of you to uncover, express, and share. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Okay, number 43. This one's charity, nature spirits. This is beautiful. Okay, here we go. Compassion, grace, detachment, understanding. This is the time to open your heart and find compassion and understanding for someone in pain. Do not take another's bad behavior personally, for their plight brings out the worst in them. It is easy to be compassionate and generous with others when they are kind and grateful. However, it is much more difficult when they are hostile and lash out. This does not mean you have to take abuse from anyone. Instead, take good care of yourself and step away from unacceptable conduct. However, do step back far enough to recognize that the poor behavior you are witnessing is that of one who is secretly suffering and afraid. Maintain healthy boundaries so they cannot hurt you, and keep your heart open enough to overlook their lousy behavior. Have compassion and forgiveness for others while protecting yourself. The nature spirits are here with their endless love and compassion to soothe the ragged and agitated emotions in the air. Take the high road and give those falling short a pass for now rather than confront them about their unpleasantness. The bad behavior on display is temporary and will correct itself if you give it time and space. Your nature spirit's message to you is time out. Take nothing personally. Patience and compassion are needed all the way around at this time. I'm not even showing you the card. It's like way over here. Here's the card up close. It's so pretty. And honestly, I needed to hear that. Hopefully, both of these resonated with you guys. And I was literally just talking to a friend about that this morning. Of like... Anyway, we don't have to get into that. Let's do our inner child. I hope y'all are doing okay. And I hope you do that. I hope you take it to heart and actually think about it. Like, think about the thing. Like, last night, I did French for the first time. Well, I mean, this year, obviously, because yesterday was the first. But, like, I had been learning French in high school for 2 years. And then high school was, like, half my life ago. So, a few years ago, I think during COVID, I started to learn French again. Maybe it was 2022. But I started to learn French again, you know, and then when my life got crazy, I kind of just stopped doing it. And so I got back into it yesterday, and I got 100% on, like, my review. And I thought that was so cool because I thought I would forget everything because I don't use it like I should. But that's one of my goals, to become fluent in French. And that would just be super cool, right? So stuff like that, like, just talking about it is exciting because it's something that gives me joy, that shares the spark, you know what I mean? Okay, spirits, what, oh goodness. Okay, so I was gonna ask, what does our soul tribe need to hear? I got set boundaries, claim your power, and know your value today. Oh my goodness, that goes into what we were just talking about. And it's never truly the end, beloved. In this, everything will be okay. Spirit, are you talking to me? These are supposed to be messages for everybody, but I think you're talking to me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. So I read this one first, so let's do this one first. 32, set boundaries. Okay. Here's the card. So set boundaries. Setting boundaries can often be an awkward and uncomfortable thing to do. No is a powerful word, one that many of us have been taught to shy away from. We may feel as though it is our responsibility to create happiness or pleasure for others by saying yes, but this should not have to come at the cost of ourselves. If you have pulled this card, then it is most certainly time to utilize the word no more frequently in your life. Your self-care exercise is it can be helpful to understand what drains you, depletes you, or makes you feel used, particularly after you have said yes to something. Write down these answers and practice using the word no around that which makes you feel used. We say yes for a variety of reasons. A sense of worth can be one. But beloved, know that your value is immeasurable and you deserve the right to say no. Saying no can be an act of self-care. Note, how to set boundaries can depend on the situation. Sometimes you will need to be firm in setting boundaries, and sometimes setting them in a gentle way might be best. Saying no does not have to come from a place of anger, but it is okay if it does. Anger can be an indicator that we have been betrayed or harmed in some way, and it can be a catalyst for setting boundaries. Responsive journaling prompt is: how does it feel in your body when you set boundaries? How does your inner child feel when you say no? If saying no brings up fears of being rejected, know that by placing boundaries, you are choosing yourself. We reject ourselves when we say yes to something that might be harmful to our well-being. That is so good. That piggybacks into what I was saying earlier and the conversation I had with my friend earlier. So Spirit's really trying to teach me something for sure. So this one is, it's never truly the end. Beloved, in this, everything will be okay. Alright, so this one says, endings are an inevitable part of the rhythm of life. They are bittersweet in nature and can seem to come at the least opportune moments. Though it is often true that when one door closes, another opens, this might not always be what we would wish for at the time, and it doesn't always bring us the comfort we desire. Many times the door opens that endings no, that's not what it says. Many times the open doors that endings create can bring about conflicting emotions within. If you have pulled this card, allow yourself to feel whatever you feel around the current ending in your life. Acceptance exercise. Take the time you need to process the emotions you have, and remember that there is no need to feel shame. It is okay to be excited or sad. It is okay to feel mad or afraid. It is okay to be happy. It is okay to exist as you are right now in these moments. Take heart that in every ending, no matter how it may feel right now, there is hope. There is hope. Know that there is something glorious waiting for you along the new path. Your responsive journaling prompt is, what can you do today to honor the current ending in your life? Whew, that's a heavy one, but that's so true. Because I have endings happening right now too. Alright, here we go. Next chapter. Oh, the sun's moving. So the next chapter, let me see how long it is. 16 ways. Oh, that means it's probably long. Okay, so we might not get through this whole thing. Okay, so 16 ways emotionally intelligent people interpret negative feelings differently. So at the heart of discomfort is the potential for great wisdom. Every time we find ourselves feeling jealous, angry, regretful, resentful, self-hating, judgmental, closed-minded, and hopeless, we are also being handed an opportunity to transform our mindsets and change our lives. These emotions are not punishment. They're signals of the shifts that we need to take place to support the lives we deeply desire to create. Here are 16 of the most important ones. What I envy in others is showing me what I desire for myself. Envy is a revealing emotion. It masks itself as anger or frustration when in reality it's a deeply buried desire. What we envy in others is actually a cue for us to become clearer about what we want to create for ourselves. We aren't actually trying to say, they don't deserve that, but rather, I want to feel like I deserve that. Jealousy reveals our own self-suppression. When you see someone else actively or seemingly effortlessly giving themselves permission to pursue something, your response is to project your own feelings of inadequacy on them. If you can't do it, why should they? Instead of letting envy turn you into a pettiest version of yourself, you can understand that within the thing that you envy is the truth about what you should be working toward, not what you should be criticizing someone else for having. My feelings are messengers, but I do not have to act on every one of them. The funny thing about feelings is that in our quest to validate them, which is the only way to release them, it can often seem like we are making them more real. Not everything we feel is relative of reality or the way that things actually are. You probably had the experience of thinking someone was the one when they weren't, or that you weren't good enough when you certainly were, and so on and so forth. Instead of responding to our emotions impulsively, we can observe them and then question them. Is this helpful? Is this truthful? Is this coming from a place of clear perspective or lingering past wounds? Trace it back to its origin, and then extract the lesson that's waiting for you. You'll know you've done this successfully when you emerge with a new inner narrative that's wiser, more accurate, and that makes you feel at ease. What I wish I had done yesterday is showing me what I need to do today. I'll let you in on a dirty little secret. There are thousands of things you regret in the past that you don't have conscious knowledge of. The reason why they remain in the recess of your mind is that they are ultimately unhelpful to your present or your future. The things that you actively and persistently regret actually signaling you not toward what you wish you had done in the past, but toward what you want and need to create going forward. Instead of thinking back on all you wish you did, devise another way to have the experience now or in the years to come. There's never just one opportunity to do something important in life. There's just one opportunity to do it in that specific way, but ultimately there are probably dozens of roads towards your destination. You just have to choose not to stop the journey just because one was a dead end. I probably see myself more negatively than anybody else. Not even your worst critics are judging you as much as you judging yourself. They're still watching a highlight reel while you're reviewing all the behind the scenes footage. Nobody else has access to all the knowledge that you have about yourself. So there's no possible way that they perceive you as negatively as you see yourself. Beyond that, most people think of others positively, or at least neutrally until they're given a reason not to. This means that most people either think of you pretty well in an indifferent manner or not at all. All of those intense and relentless self-criticisms are just that, self-criticism. Nobody is sitting around thinking about that embarrassing thing you did 5 years ago, or evaluating how much progress you are or aren't making in life. They're sitting around and thinking about themselves. Other people most likely think I'm doing better than I think I am. In a similar way, other people are far more likely to value your accomplishments and attributes, whereas you focus more on your shortcomings and failures. This should help you realize that you don't have anything to prove to anyone else. Success is a self-evident thing. When you approach other people imagining that they at least have a relatively positive view on you, it changes the way you act around them. Instead of acting on the defense, you can connect, knowing that they probably already think you're worthy because you are. If I just accomplish one thing today, that is enough. You don't desire to be consistently productive because the world is telling you to be. You desire to be consistently productive because you're afraid of lack. You're afraid of failing. You're afraid of instability. You're afraid of falling behind. While the world has certainly instilled a culture and social structure that makes these fears more common, it's important that we redirect the blame here and put the onus back on ourselves. If we never confront our scary feelings of self-doubt, we're going to push ourselves to overwork and to overcompensate until we die. We can change the narrative by approaching productivity in a more realistic way. Some days you'll get it all done. Some days you need to rest. Some days just getting one thing checked off your list is reason enough to feel proud of yourself. Instead of trying to feel less guilt as a rebellion against the world that you think is out to get you, see it as recalibrating of your mindset to something more rational. Small steps taken almost daily move you closer towards stability and success. You don't need to do it all in order to feel safe. I am allowed to express and process deep emotions. Some days life will knock you off your feet. The problem is that instead of embracing heavy waves of emotion, we resist them and end up in the intense backup that makes us constantly tense and constantly on the edge. The way we remedy this is by shifting the way we approach our feelings in the present moment. Doing this does not mean you are falling behind. It does not mean that you're a lesser being. It does not mean that you're backtracking. It does not mean that you're self-sabotaging. It just means you're processing, and that's a good thing. When we don't allow ourselves to have these very vulnerable, very human emotions, it turns us into hypersensitive robots, constantly trying to control our lives and the lives of those around us out of fear that any trigger might unleash the avalanche. We can better assimilate ourselves to emotional health by allowing ourselves to lay down, cry it out, vent, and embrace the low tides when they come. knowing the dawn will always rise. I am entitled to my own idea of myself. You are allowed to invent an image of yourself separate from the pieces that you put together of what other people have told you about yourself. That's how you create your self-esteem as a child, but as an adult, you have to grow out of it. Instead of just accepting that you're the sum of how others see you, you are free to create a self-perception that is more accurate to your honest experience of yourself. A truly healthy self-image includes good and bad, as all people have, and is built outside of how you imagine others see you. I can define what success will look like in my own life. You build your concept of success by picking up on the micro cues from other people around you, and what you've learned, what you've heard them say is and isn't acceptable in your life. You build your idea of success around the ultimate version of what would make you most loved. That is until you realize it's fruitless endeavor. Eventually, you reach a peak of that particular mountain only to find that you fulfilled someone else's vision while you yourself feel empty inside. It's no place to be, and yet somewhere we all must usually arrive before we know how to redirect. You are allowed to define success on your own terms. You are allowed to say what is or isn't enough for your life. One way that you can help yourself do this more easily is to stop deciding what success is or isn't for someone else and wish them well on their own journey, knowing a great life looks different for all of us. My purpose might not be at my job, and it doesn't have to be. Your job pays the bills. Your purpose gives meaning to your life. No one person has any single purpose. Our purpose can change day to day, hour to hour. Our purpose may be found in a relationship or our presence, or a job that we do for a while and then another one that we do later on. Our purpose is just to be alive. Everything else that follows is likewise important, but if you get too caught up in the idea that you have to find your divine purpose within a profession, you seriously limit yourself and your understanding of true and pervasive meaning. You also attach your worth to something temporary when your purpose is an infinite expression of your own nature. Instead of trying to figure out what you're supposed to do for the rest of your existence, figure out what the next right step in your life, because that's probably the way forward. Nobody is required to live up to my expectations of them. Resentment is often bred from unfulfilled and unfair expectations. Absolutely nobody is required to live up to our ideas of who we think they should or shouldn't be, or what they should or shouldn't do, in the same way that we are not required to live up to those ideas they have about us. This is where boundaries come in. While we cannot control who or what someone becomes, we can control our interactions with them, and we must. Because when we assume that everyone is required to be who we think they should be, we place limitations on them, and we ultimately just make ourselves frustrated and resentful. We can either embrace people for who they are in this moment or decide to limit the presence they have in our lives. It is safe to let go of the past experiences once I've extracted the lesson from them. Is this weird? Am I just leaning too much? I'll do this. You don't have to keep ruminating. You don't have to keep reviewing the details of old experiences. You don't have to keep worrying that you'll get caught off guard again. When we can't let go of the past, it's often because it doesn't feel safe to. Without hypervigilance, we assume the threat will be free to come up and surprise us again. The experiences we can't often release still hold within them a lesson that has yet to be extracted. Once we've learned from the mistake and carry the wisdom with us each day, we are free to finally release what brought it to us. When we haven't learned the lesson, it doesn't feel safe to release the teacher. Ooh. Right now, my mission is to make the very best of what is in front of me. Instead of constantly thinking about where you should or shouldn't be, or who does or doesn't have more or less than you, or how you measure up to your friends or family or past selves, you can instead think of the only task any one of us truly have, which is to simply to make the best of what's in front of us. That's it. Make the best of this day. Make the best of the opportunities you have. Make the best of your current relationships. Make the best of yourself. Right here and right now. The best doesn't mean the most perfect. It just means that instead of passively letting life happen to you, you show up in each moment and you work with what you have instead of just complaining about what you don't. My most persistent judgment of other people are often a reflection of a block within myself. What you dislike about other people can reveal a lot about your own psyche. Most importantly, your ongoing relationship issues are often pointing toward emotional blocks within yourself, the very blocks that are holding you back from the life you're asking for, which is why they're in your conscious awareness. If you don't acknowledge someone else's progress, you can't acknowledge your own. If you villainize someone else's success, you resist your own. If you sum someone up by their worst traits, you sum up yourself by your own. And what you will almost always come to find is that the moments in which you feel most compelled to judge and shrink other people from your life is the very moment at which you yourself feel pretty small. Instead of projecting, seek deeper wisdom. Heal your relationship with yourself, and the rest will fall into place. I do not need to feel guilty over what I cannot control. There's no sense of holding on to what you can no longer change. You don't have to feel guilty for the sake of it. Guilting yourself doesn't make you a better person, it makes you a bitter person, which inevitably results in less than admirable behavior. Instead of trying to bully yourself into better character, seek a deeper understanding of why you acted the way you did and what blind spots led you there. Understanding the root of the behavior more completely will not only ensure that you change your actions going forward, but it'll give you a greater sense of peace because you're trusting in your wisdom, not your impulses. I am more powerful than I think I am. When you realize that your words, your actions, and your beliefs deeply impact not only your reality, but the realities of those around you, you start taking yourself a lot more seriously. You start to realize that you do have the power to change your life, to create what you desire, to experience another reality. Instead of trying to move the unmovable or change the unchangeable, you recognize that you can control a number of things that are right in front of you. And then over time, you will be able to shift more and more. My highest potential future life already exists. When you close your eyes and imagine your future self or your future life, the one that feels so good, so right, so inspiring, and so helpful, what you need to know is that it already exists. That person is you, and that life is yours. The journey is bridging the gap between visualizing it and seeing it in reality. The journey contains releasing attachments, changing behaviors, shifting your belief system, and slowly taking action every day until you reach the other side. You are destined for what you most desire. The truths that pull you deeply do so for a reason. You are inching closer toward the life that was always meant to be yours. But the first step is enacting it completely, is knowing that it's already there. It's yours for the taking. That was so good. I'm getting cold out here. Okay, tomorrow's chapter is When You're Ready to Take Your Power Back, Begin Here. Ooh, that sounds like a good one too. Look, we're getting through the book really good. Alright, you guys. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for spending your time with me and sharing your energy with me. I wish you so much love and joy and happiness and healing and health. And I just send you so much love, you guys. And thank you for joining me. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.